Guys, I have a very special announcement. Wait for it. Wait for it. AC family, we've officially hit 5 million subs. Yay! We had a little party in the ant room this week. Just myself and all the ants and animals. But this is a huge milestone, one I don't take for granted. And so, to celebrate this titanic event with all of you, as some of you already know, I'm working on our magnum opus, an over 1,200 gallon ecosystem ant vivarium, the custom glass and materials of which arrive in just 2 more days, which is crazy. I've already begun to make the preparations with a variety of animals, critters, and plants on standby, waiting to be stocked into it. I've placed the link to the 5M Subs Ant Vivarium playlist in the description, so you guys can catch up on that series if you haven't seen any of the videos yet. Now I'll need some time to work on that build, so I figured, for this week's video, for our first video stepping into our 5M era, why not go back to the place it all began? Back to the basics, if you will. Even for a moment, seeing as the next few videos will be seriously complex and biologically deep. I dedicate this episode to all the ant lovers, and to the ant hobbyists who may have started ant keeping after watching my videos over the years, and also to all those thinking of getting into the ant keeping hobby. Let's delight in the simple joys of setting up a new ant farm for a new colony of ants, my black carpenter ants, who are currently living in a test tube and are just about ready for a home upgrade. Our carpenter ants are about to be mind blown by the new awesome living space we're going to be building for them today. Let's all gather around and watch them react to it for the first time as a community of 5 million. Welcome to the Ants Canada Ant Channel. Please subscribe to my channel and hit the bell icon. Welcome to the AC family. Enjoy. AC family, within this AC test tube portal and test tube setup lives one of my 3 carpenter ant colonies, raised from a queen ant I caught earlier this year. You guys will love watching them move and settle into their new home, which we shall build for them in just a moment. Let's look into their setup. This here is the colony's AC test tube portal, which acts as their mini outworld for feeding. And as you can see here, a place to dump their garbage and establish a bathroom area here in the corner. The test tube portal is attached to their test tube via this test tube adapter. Let's have a look at them. And there they are. Stunning colony. There's the queen right there, bigger than the workers. And if you look there, you can see something awesome. A major. I'm actually surprised the colony has already begun to produce majors this early in the colony's development. Usually majors arrive after 100 workers or more, but not in this species of carpenter ants, it seems. Judging from the light color of its head, it seems like this major had recently emerged from its pupa, perhaps a couple days ago. In a day or so, its head will be black, like the rest of the workers, where it will use its massive jaw muscles for colony defense and cutting things open. The queen has done an amazing job at laying eggs and growing this colony. The colony has been non-stop eager and energetic at caring for the growing brood. That to me is one healthy carpenter ant colony. But the colony is now ready to receive a brand new living space, as I can see the ants now trying to move their brood into the test tube portal. No matter how many years I've been keeping ants, giving a colony a brand new home upgrade is still one of the most gratifying things for an ant keeper, and also for the ants. So AC family, let's do this. First, an outworld. This here is an AC outworld from antscanada.com and will act as the colony's outer world, where the ants will be able to forage for food, as you will see later, and dump their garbage and even their dead. We're going to naturalistically design this outworld to make it interesting for the ants. But first, there's something we need to do beforehand. If you're new to AC Outworlds, this here is the lid with a feeding chute that comes off for quick feeding, so you don't have to remove the entire lid at feeding time. This large portion here is perforated for ventilation, but it pops off so that we could do this. Add our ant barrier. So in case you're new to ant keeping, The ant barrier just keeps the ants inside the setup. It's a mix of talcum or baby powder and rubbing alcohol, and is just painted onto this inner lip. It will be super slippery to the ants when dry. I used to use petroleum jelly for some species of ants, but I find talcum plus alcohol to be the most effective for ants from my current area. Alright, placing that aside to dry, and now for the fun part. Let's design this outworld. And a lot of you keep asking me to show the entire building process instead of cutting to the finished setup, so I'll do just that. First, I'm going to use sand for the ground medium of this outworld. The idea is to keep this outworld relatively dry, to discourage the ants from moving into the outworld and out of their nest, which we'll be setting up next, so stay tuned. We want the ants to only use this outworld space as their outer hunting grounds and out-of-nest activities, so dry sand works well. Next, adding in a few rocks for dimension. Then a fake vine. Some dried sphagnum moss for more greenery. Adding some twigs to make it look like mini trees. And actually, on second thought, let's remove the fake vine. I feel it doesn't need it. Adding some moss to the top of the trees to make them really look like trees. And rearranging the position of the trees to create a better landscape. As you can see, it's kind of a trial and error thing when building these mini ant worlds. I usually end up making a ton of changes along the way, which is why I usually choose not to include that rather lengthy and tedious process in my videos. I added some more pieces of wood for added naturalism. Okay, actually this little piece doesn't work. We don't need it. Popping the lid back on, and voila! What do you think? I find it's giving Serengeti meets Forest Edge. I just know our ants will love it, but we'll see. It's got a nice mix of mini trees, sand, rocks, wandering space, more rocks, branches to climb, and just a ton of space to satisfy their foraging and exploratory urges. The ants will be emerging from that hole into the outworld. The other hole is there on the other side, just hidden away behind some moss. We won't really be using this entrance into the outworld though, and it will be plugged up shortly. This will be the colony's entrance point for now. Alright, next step, the colony's new nest. Oh, how I love this as well. Within this package is one of my favorite Formicaria at our shop for housing ant colonies. Let me unbox it from the package. Ladies and gentlemen, presenting our AC Hybrid Nest Mini. It's the perfect home for our young carpenter ant colony at their current stage. It's got 2 exits out of the nest. Now part of the floor area has perforated mini holes for hydration. The top portion comes off, and here you can see the hydration tub. Here you could place cotton, sand, a sponge, but today I'm just using a folded piece of paper towel. This is meant to absorb water and bring hydration to the inside of the hybrid nest via capillary action. It can easily be replaced once it gets gross or moldy, which happens as the paper towel acts as a cleaning agent to draw biological waste from the nest, placing the top portion on and pouring some fresh water into the tub. There we go. And now the nest will be nicely hydrated with a drier region for the ants to hydroregulate, depending on what humidity preference they desire. Alright, and now to connect the hybrid nest to the outworld via a tube that comes with the outworld kit, and taking an AC plug, also included in the kit, to plug up the other hole we aren't using for now. This hole can accommodate other tubes in case we want to attach more setups in the future, or when we eventually upgrade to a larger hybrid nest. And all was set. By the way, I wanted to quickly mention that all ant farms and outworlds, including these you see here, are currently on sale at 10% off at antscanada.com for the rest of the year. As part of our yearly holidays promo, Plus comes with a free ant keeping handbook when you use the code ANTLOVEFOREVER2023. If you want to own your own AC ant farm setup for your ant colony, head on over to antscanada.com and start keeping pet ants with me. It also makes a great holiday gift for your nature-loving loved one. Oh, and if you need ants for your AC setup, just check out the Queen Ants for Sale tab, also on the site. Okay guys, it's time to move in the ants. So here's the plan. I need to detach this test tube and place it into this hole, then use an AC plug from the kit to plug up the hole in the test tube portal. Here goes nothing. Let's do this. And done. The ants immediately began to explore the nest. Let's remove this cover and see the colony. They're relatively calm, which is good. Let's see what's happening inside the nest. So cool! Curious ants began exploring the various chambers and reporting their exciting findings back to the colony. Guys, you gotta check this place out. You gotta remember these ants, other than the queen, have only known their test tube and test tube portal for their entire lives. So this was all totally new for them, and their minds are about to be blown even more. One of the ants discovers the other exit, leading to the tube, which would bring them to the outworld. The ant goes back to tell the others about the tube, before heading back in and finally setting foot for the first time in the outworld. Awesome! Now there was one more thing to do. Placing in the AC test tube portal so the ants within could reunite with their colony. The ants were definitely dazed at this point, having momentarily been separated from the main colony, now emerging into a strange new world. But it was only a matter of time before one of the ants from the main colony would find these stragglers and lead them back to their new home base. Now I'll be leaving this test tube here in case the ants decide they aren't ready to move into the hybrid nest just yet, and also to provide the colony with a fresh supply of water to drink. With the hybrid nest cover on, hopefully in time, the colony would move in. But now that all the connections were made and their home waiting for the ants to discover and map out for themselves, all we needed to do now was watch. And it looks like one of the ants has made the connection to the stragglers to help lead them back to their new home. I placed in a drop of honey as a housewarming gift, and it was immediately discovered, at first by one ant, then another. This was the colony's first meal in their outworld, and these ants would soon be informing the colony back home of the news that they'd found some food in their new outworld. And so the colony was all set. I decided to allow the ants to get acquainted with their new space and retire for the night. But little did I know, the ants would surprise me with their reaction to their new home. A fresh, newly eclosed major, the third major of the colony, had just broken out of its cocoon. The very first worker to arrive into adulthood in their new setup. Where are we? It thought as it tasted the walls of the colony's test tube, which would soon be their old home, as the workers were on the brink of executing a major colony operation. They were just preparing now. In the outworld, a team of scouts were just finishing up, mapping out all corners of their outworld, which was the biggest space they'd ever known. The ants had already declared this tube to be colony territory, an official ant highway for the colony. But activity was beginning to grow here at this port. Ants that had visited the honey drop outside and gorged themselves, social stomachs full of honey, made their way back to the colony through the outworld exit and back to the nest, where they immediately began to dispose the honey to other workers. Everyone needed to be fed right now. Ants that had food stores within them were now feeding all other workers via trophallaxis, ensuring every adult member of the colony was properly fed and nourished to fuel what was about to happen next. Our new major receiving her very first adult meal now. She was still hardening, so she would need that extra energy to be able to move and keep up with the colony. Another major stood guard, ready to act as protector of the colony during the upcoming operation. Another team of ants had spent the last several hours inspecting every possible corner of the hybrid nest to ensure its safety and suitability to become their next home location. In case you haven't deduced by now, the ants were already planning to move in. Then when the ants were ready, they began to start moving the brood, at first just closer to the nest entrance. It was important that the ants move in only once all boxes for safety and nestability were ticked off. Moving into a new space prematurely could spell death for the ant colony, so patience was of utmost importance. ants stood over an initial brood pile that was ready for transport as soon as they got the go signal to begin the immigration into the hybrid nest. Everyone was at attention and ready now, including our new major. Our queen was also ready for the move, but the colony had a few more members to feed before executing. This major needed energy, as it would have to defend the colony in case an intruder or predator would interfere with the colony relocation. And then, suddenly, when all was set and the ants got the go signal from the scouts, the colony began to release the pheromone to start the move. AC family, let's watch the beauty of an ant colony's emigration into their new nest. Little by little, ants began to transport the brood into the darkened, humid hybrid nest, their new home, which they felt was more suitable than their test tube. It can take ants days or sometimes weeks for them to finally decide to move into a new nest, which is why them moving so soon into their hybrid nest was awesome. Some ants felt the test tube was still a better home for the colony, so they moved brood out. But this is all part of the ant democratic process. Soon, a dominating pheromone instruction to move into the hybrid nest would be the strongest colony message. And that is how the ant vote and democratic system works. Soon, an ant began to tug at the queen. "Come, your highness. Time to enter the new luxury palace we found for thee." She followed. And stood at the entrance, cautiously examining the interior before fully stepping in. Left behind was the new major, who was still a bit reluctant to move, or perhaps still a bit weak, or maybe not knowing what all the commotion was about yet. But eventually, it too began to proceed towards the entrance. The remaining brood was finally being shipped out now. Overall, this colony relocation was quick and subtle, as these emigration events should be, as you wouldn't want to draw extra attention in the wild lest a predator come by and decide to have an ant colony snack. The test tube, their old home, would from now on be used as a colony water source. With the colony now moved into the hybrid nest, it wasn't until morning when I woke up that I made the discovery that they had already moved into and loved their new home. By morning, I checked up on the ants. Yay! They moved out already! And yay! The ants were enjoying the honey too! So cool! And now for the coolest part. Let's open the nest and see inside, removing the cover. Ah, so cool! Looks like the colony chose the part closest to the exit to the tube leading to the outworld. Efficient and practical choice, I must say. Watching the queen nestled comfortably in her new nest chamber, along with her growing army, all caring for her and her brood, filled my ant-loving heart with such joy. I can't wait for this colony to keep growing until they fill this setup and can move into a larger hybrid nest. Perhaps a Camponotus hybrid nest in the future. So much to look forward to. You know, after all these years of ant keeping, this very experience never gets old. The wonder and gratification of watching an ant colony you love and care for grow and move into a new home is just as awesome as it felt the first time I ever did it, back in 2009. In fact, I'm in complete awe at how far this little nerdy hobby of ant keeping has taken us over the 14 years I've been YouTubing ants. What a ride it's been, following the real-life stories of some legendary ant colonies, leaving us with some great memories and lessons about life and the planet on which we share. And now here we are, AC family, 5 million strong and counting, still watching and observing our ants together, week after week, pushing forward together like the ants we love. It has been my greatest honor to be able to witness and tell their extraordinary stories on this channel. I must say, I am also completely mind-blown by you. So grateful that a love for ants led me to the greatest community on the platform, in my honest opinion. In my eyes, you guys are the stars of this channel too. Thank you all for loving ants. and for always inspiring me to create better videos and tell more stories about ants and nature. Thank you for being my best friends over the years and helping me provide the best lives possible for the beloved pet ants we care for on the channel. But through it all, as we turn each corner on this journey of ant love, my hope for all of you watching AC Family is that by watching these videos, you too find the inspiration to follow your passions in life as well, whatever they may be. I've learned that whatever it is you might be passionate about, regardless of how nerdy or niche the world might perceive it as, whatever it is you love to do, those activities that fill you with purpose and joy, where you don't notice the time flying by, it's these activities, your passions, that possess the power to change your life beyond your wildest of dreams. Because I've learned that all you need to do is care for a single pregnant queen ant for it to give rise to an entire empire. And that pregnant queen ant is a metaphor for your passion. Thank you all for watching and supporting the ants. I'll see you next week for the Great Ant Vivarium build. Happy 5M, AC Family! I love you guys. It's Ant Love forever. Hope you can subscribe to the channel as we upload every Saturday at 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Please remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe if you enjoyed this video to help us keep making more. It's Ant Love forever.